Welcome to the Garden Report, powered by ZipRecruiter. I am your host, Jared Weiss, and I'm joined by Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer. And we got our new CLNS mic flag so we could look extra sexy. But the Celtics needed some mic flags tonight because they did not look sexy. They looked like a steaming pile of garbage pretty much for a lot of this game. And the main culprit in that was Derrick Rose, who had a vintage Derrick Rose game, season-high 30 points. It got to the rim like pretty much whenever he wanted to in the fourth quarter there.
Yeah, Derrick Rose, like Jared said, just had a vintage Derrick Rose night. He looked like the Derrick Rose of his MVP caliber seasons. And that was kind of surprising to see because he's had kind of an up and down year. But we saw him tonight on one of his best nights, and unfortunately for the Celtics, they also saw him on that best night. And like you said, he just got to the rim at will. He looked explosive, he looked quick like he did in his prime. The question for the Knicks is, how much can he really sustain this? But the flashes are kind of nice to see for Derrick Rose fans.
I'd imagine at this point of the season, he's not really building up to now. It's going to be incredibly consistent, but it could be more common than it's been throughout the season where it's like one great game, two terrible games, one okay game, and then one really good game. Tonight, what was great to see was his up and under game was there. That was like kind of his bread and butter when he was in Chicago before he got hurt, was he would go up in the air, show the ball, take it away, and show it again somewhere else. So tonight, he was doing that, getting around the rim, getting around Al Horford, who we'll talk about later, is having a very mediocre night, or I guess a lopsided night. But what do you think that what you saw out of Rose tonight is like actually what he used to be able to do, or you just think he kind of had he had that chip on his shoulder tonight, he had that drive?
I just think he had one of those nights. I think like a lot of players who are past their prime, at one point or another, they show what they used to be. And, you know, Derrick Rose and his age, and I'm sure will put this game on the highlight reel when he goes into free agency this summer and they're asking for a max contract. But there is no way in hell I would give Derrick Rose a max contract because I don't see him doing this on a consistent basis at all.
All right, well, I'm going to tear up the script on this one. Speaking of past their prime, speaking of no way in hell, Carmelo Anthony. There's been a lot of talk about training for Carmelo Anthony with Mark Berman floating wasn't clear, was that a rumor or just a trade idea? I don't know. Idea. I like Mark, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. So Jay Crowder would be the centerpiece of that trade, along with a Celtics first rounder next year, and then Amir Johnson and Jonas Jerebko, who are both good, but they're on expiring deals, may not be staying next year. So it really boils down to, would you trade Jay Crowder, who's got a few more years left, at $7 million a year, and which is like less than the mid-level exception for a really good starter, versus Carmelo Anthony, who looks so past his prime tonight, I think they might need to get his vital signs after the game.
You know, it sounds like an insane thing to say that you wouldn't trade Jay Crowder for Carmelo Anthony, potential Hall of Famer, but I would not trade Jay Crowder for Carmelo Anthony. And, you know, it's for a number of reasons from the Celtics' perspective. For one, Crowder's probably your best, most versatile defender. He is a good guy in the locker room, and he has a really, really team-friendly contract, whereas Carmelo Anthony is a weak defender, declining, has a shoulder issue that people don't talk about that often, which may be affecting his shooting percentages. And the fact that he's 32 years old and he's going to cost a lot of money for you. There's just a lot of reasons why I wouldn't trade Crowder for Carmelo.
And tonight was like a complete garbage game for him, except for a corner three in the fourth quarter that kind of kept the game in the Knicks' control. But he looked like he was in that starting lineup where Kuz was in there, Kylo Quinn, Ron Baker started this game, which I assume there's a parade in Times Square right now, but that was crazy. And I think Melo was the worst player on the floor during those opening minutes there. He's like a pedestrian out there. He's just jaywalking through an NBA court. He doesn't try on either end whatsoever. There are plays in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, with 5 minutes left, where they have a nice little lead and they're trying to beat the Celtics on their home floor, where I saw him wink at somebody in the fifth row during an active play while the ball was on the weak side and he's posted in the corner. He wasn't even looking at the play. He was looking in the stands. His attention, he's probably more focused on his next powwow with Phil Jackson than he is on actually executing in crunch time. His idea of offense is to basically, it's like a masochistic slog, I think is what I wrote in my game story, where he waits till someone's smothering him to try to draw a foul, and it doesn't work 90% of the time. And that's his whole offensive strategy.
All I can say to that is that the Knicks made a mistake giving him a no-trade clause, because they should do everything they can to convince him to waive that no-trade clause. I think it's in the best interest of the franchise to move on and get whatever assets they can for him, and then just build around Kristaps Porzingis, who obviously didn't play tonight.
And Ron Baker, of course.
Ron Baker.
Yeah. All right. Well, we missed Kristaps tonight, didn't we? I had to circle. I returned after a layoff just to see Kristaps tonight. I got Kuz, so I'm happy with it, but that's all right. All right, we're going to come back for part 2, and we're going to talk about what happened with Al Horford tonight. This is the Garden Report powered by ZipRecruiter. If you want to hire someone, do it the right way, get a good producer like Jeremy behind the camera right now, use ZipRecruiter. You go to ZipRecruiter.com/sportsfan, and you will have access to over 200 job boards just at the click of a button. It's the best way, the easiest way, and the most modern way to hire somebody. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/sportsfan. We will be right back on the Garden Report.